So for this video I'm going to be replacing this front brake disc, and so step one is to get this wheel off, which means I have to take this axle nut off, and then it's got 4 pinch bolts, 2 on each side, that need to come off. So and then for these pinch bolts, they're Allen bolts, so I always like to make sure they're cleaned out so the tool fits inside the bolt well and doesn't less likely to strip anything out. And this side it's still in view. 2 more on this side. And then I'm going to remove this speedometer cable if I can get it off. And that's out. Next step is to get this brake disc off, and I went I went around here and cleaned out each bolt to make sure it's clean, so I don't have any problems seating this tool. Loosen all these up. Came off easy. Before we put the new disc on, to make sure this is all clean. Now I'm ready to install the new brake disc. This is cleaned off, and on the new brake disc, the lettering where you get some of the specs, like this one is minimum thickness, 4.5 millimeters. You want this to be on the outside. And I put blue Loctite on each one of these bolts. And you just want to reinstall everything. And I'm going to use the impact wrench to tighten these down, but I'm not going to use the impact wrench to tighten them. And these need to be tightened down to 20 foot-pounds in stages, a couple of stages. And you want to use a star pattern. And I think that's all of them. Yeah. Before I reinstall the wheel, I need to make room in the caliper for the new brake disc. So I need to push the pistons in on the caliper just to make a little more room, which is going to force fluid back up into the reservoir. So brake fluid is something you want to check when you're done. It's probably a good time if you're doing this, just to make sure your level's okay. And then make sure all your, I'm still not ready. I need to get, hold on a sec. Now's a good time to make sure that this brake disc is clean. So I got some brake cleaner here. Just going to spray it. And then do the other side. If I can see. And then wipe it off with a clean part of your rag. And if you got it, clean off your axle. And apply some, I'm just going to use some marine grease just on this part of the axle. I'm not going to apply it to the threads. And set that aside. And then I don't know if you're able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to apply some grease to the end of the speedometer cable. sure that the part of the fork where the axle goes into is clean. Guess it doesn't matter. And reassemble speedometer housing. I got to clean that off. I'm going to throw some grease in there. It goes like that. Now I'm ready to put the wheel back on. So now I'm ready to reinstall the wheel. Got all the spacers on the wheel. Make sure that your disc fits into the caliper. I think that's in. Then you want to make sure, the hardest part is to make sure your hold on. Make sure the speedometer housing is in place and lined up. There's a notch on the fork that the speedometer housing fits into, and you got to make sure that that's in place. Okay, that's on. When you get the wheel on, you can check to make sure that you can double check your speedometer housing. This gear shouldn't, it's notched with that notch in the fork so it won't turn. That's the way you want it. You can put this back in. And now we're ready to tighten up. There's a sequence Kawasaki wants you to follow to tighten everything up to prevent fork wear. You want to position the forks exactly where they should be. And the starting step is to tighten the axle up, but I think I'm going to have to pause the video and get something to hold the axle on this end. I guess I can... yeah, let me grab something. So I'm using a really big 14mm Allen to hold the axle. But I suppose if you didn't have that, you could temporarily tighten these pinch bolts to hold it, so you could tighten the keep the axle from turning, so you could tighten the axle nut. But then when you finish that, come back and loosen these up again, because these don't want to be tightened till the last step. And then the axle needs to be tightened to 65 foot-pounds. And then you want to tighten this side. So if you're sitting on the bike, it'd be the left side. These left side pinch bolts. If you can see that, please. The next step after you tighten to this to 65 foot-pounds, you want to tighten these to 15 foot-pounds. And then the next procedure is I got to get the bike down, so I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, the next step is you want to get on the bike and you want to press your front brake pedal and keep pressing it until it's hard, because we've been messing with the caliper, so there's going to be a lot of play when you first press the lever. Then you want to engage the front brake and press the forks down as hard as you can a couple of times. And then the next step is to tighten up these. So if you're on the bike, these would be the right side pinch bolts to 15 foot-pounds. And that's it. You should be done. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.